What's going on, guys? We're just in the studio. I have some sweet people with me today. Who are you guys?
I'm April.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Russell. We're Team Rocket. Blasting off the speed of light. Okay. Alright, let's do this thing with the lights and the stuff. Okay, here we go. With all your light sources, we have lots of stuff, but the first one we're going to do is with no light, just the ambient light that comes from the light painting tool, whether this is with blades or tubes or whatever. All depends kind of what you're going with, but today we're going to be doing blades. Important thing we're doing with lights and with models, okay, is that when the light is in front of the model, or if they have already been lit in the front, then they cannot blink during that time. So if I've already, so say that the video lights are on, right? And then we turn them off, as long as she didn't blink when they were on, she should be fine because there's no light hitting her in the front, unless I go in front with this. So that can be an important distinction, whether you're using rear curtain or normal flash, like your fill flash, if you're gonna be using flashes, or really anytime you're lighting your subject, as long as this part isn't lit up, you're good. The other important thing though is, even if I've already been lit up in the front, or even if I've done light painting in the back, if they've moved their body or like their elbow in any way, then you're gonna see like a shadow that comes from that. So it's important that they don't move. It's really helpful if it's not gonna be a super long exposure to hold your breath and find a stance that you're not gonna like move in. So like, you know, don't go on 1 foot or something crazy, Adam. Okay, goodness. He's a mess, it's fine. 2, 1. As you can see in the first image, when I put the blade in front of the model, I was able to light up a lot of them, but if I just have the blade behind the model, I can only really illuminate a silhouette. There was a bit of an ambient light in the room, which is why you can see some of her in this case. And I know that a lot of the times if you're going to be using tubes or blades and you're outside and you can use that ambient light, or potentially use the tube or the blade to light your model from behind, it is doable. Eric Pare does it all the time, but it's not that reliable if you want to illuminate your subject completely. What we just did was with no light, and now we're gonna do it as if you had some video lights on. These are gonna be some bigger video lights than you might traditionally use, but it gets the same idea across. Of course, you're always gonna wanna be having this video light on a really, really low like output, but if you can't, like what we're gonna do today is we're gonna have Adam and I, and we're going to basically be turning these lights off as soon as the exposure starts so that we can light up the model perfectly. Our model being April. 3, 2, 1. Two, 1. Relax. The biggest issue with having a video light that is on the entire time the exposure is going is that if your model moves even a little bit in any way, you're gonna see that. It's gonna make everything harder. Just in general, everything is just harder with the video light that's on. If you turn them off and on, like I did in this video, it's not as bad, but it's just not very practical. We just did our video lights. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be doing it with flashes. The flashes that I have are some Yongnuo 4s, and I also have them in some soft boxes that are Godox. You can get these off of Amazon. It's fairly cheap. Anywho, we're going to do those so you guys can see the differences between the video light, no light, and now flashes. I had these flashes on 128 power and 1/16 power, and they were on a normal flash, they were not on rear curtain sync. You can do that. It really kind of depends on your preference. I haven't seen a huge difference in between the two, but generally rear curtain sync is used or preferred when light painting. And then just for the heck of it,
and now you know.
Just for the heck of it, we're gonna do some rear curtain syncs too, just because we're here, so why not? Let's do it. 2, 1. For our fourth way to light your model, you can use a flashlight, okay? Now, if you want to get really good at knowing what flash is or light is going to be great, if you do things manually with a flashlight, you can just guess and be like, oh, this is probably right, and you'll be right most of the time. Now, the flashlight that I'm using right here is an MT22C, and what's great about these is they have a little dial on the end, and it can allow me to change the brightness of my flashlight, which is great for when I'm trying to light up the model and I don't want to overexpose them depending on what the settings of my camera are. So we're going to do that right meow. 3, 2, 1. Two, one. Not only does being able to change the brightness of the flashlight manually help you determine how bright your picture is going to be depending on the exposure you set, but also another great benefit to it is that you can be further away from your subject. You can't really do that potentially with flashes and or strobes if you're outside because they're going to be caught in the picture, so landscape pictures are generally out. And with a flash or a strobe, you're going to be lighting up the entire environment that you might want to be lit up with ambient light instead, and the flashlight will allow you to only light up the model and thus keeping your light sources to be separated from each other, and that's a huge benefit. So our last way to light your model in this edition of lighting your models on Tuesdays with Russ. It's a really long name, I'll figure it out later. It's really just Tutorial Tuesday, but it's fine. Is we have the Light Painting Brushes Portrait Light or scanner. A lot of people have made their own, and then Light Painting Brushes was like, yo, let's make a legit one. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. We say yo a lot, we're real cool. So just pop your flashlight in there. This is a O-light, and you use this to scan your model, going up and down like this. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fine, I know. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Three, two, one. When using the scanner or the Light Painting Brushes Portrait Light, it is generally preferred that you only go over your subject once, just because it keeps the lighting even, and then they could have potentially moved since you've gone over them the first time. The only downside to using a scanner is that you can't, as you can see in the elbow in the top right, it kind of missed part of her elbow there, and so it's not as wide of a range that potentially a flashlight or a flash could do, but I really love how the lighting comes out in general, and I still need to play with it a lot more because it's just such a useful tool. So those were 5 different ways that you could light up your subjects and your models. Thanks to Adam and April for being here and doing this with me. And personally, like I've used all the different ways. Flash can be good in certain situations, and that's trying to do with move it, whole other story. Like this is not moving, none of that. Personally, I like the light painting brushes just because you get this that nice look. It's just so, love it. Okay, but you know what, do what works best for you. Yeah, so like, subscribe. I'm not gonna tell you to live your life, so you can do that if you want, but I think you're great. And we'll see your beautiful faces in the next video. Okay, bye.